Up because we're about to dive into details that can make all the difference in your VA claim. Let's get started.
Whiskey 9 Yankee 7 November Golf, over.
Okay guys, first things first. Let's go ahead and take a look at what these statements are and why they're so crucial. Buddy letters, buddy statements, lay statements, lay evidence, they are all the same thing. They are all used to provide evidence to your claim. And they all use the VA form 10210. These are all statements in support of a claim. Now, there is a difference between a lay statement and a buddy statement, and I bet you can't guess what it is. But we'll actually quiz you a little bit later on, and I'm sure that you'll understand by the time I'm done with this video. A VA buddy letter not only is a statement from those around that veteran, friends, family, or close neighborhood ties, it also is used to provide evidence for pieces that are missing from an individual's service treatment record. Lay or buddy statement can definitely fill in some context as to how much the veteran is struggling on this day-to-day life. It is a statement that can really clarify from other people, from their observation on what the veteran's life looks like from day to day due to the ailments that they're suffering from. So a lay or buddy statement can serve as a witness report for some incidents. So you can look at it from the observation of the actual event that was the trigger for the symptoms. It can be looked at as the observation of the symptoms themselves, or it can kind of be a meld of the two depending on how much the witness is in the life of the veteran. So when writing your buddy or lay statement, what should you really focus on? Well, I'll tell you. First things first, specificity. Specificity is key. Describe your symptoms, describe how much it impacts your life, and be very, very specific on the individual triggers, stressors, and ailments that this specific condition is causing. So for the remainder of this video, we are going to be using PTSD as our condition. And when we're talking about PTSD, we're talking about the specific triggers and the impacts that those triggers have on our life. So what is on the VA's checklist? What are they really searching for when they're looking at your lay or buddy statement? When we're looking at what the VA is really focusing on, 3 C's and the H: competency, credibility, consistency, and honesty. So in essence, your buddy or lay statement should align with your service records. The writer should detail it as if it was a personal observation of your symptoms or stressors, and the writer should be a credible person. So what does a credible person look like? Really, it boils down to they are able to verify that they were present during the stressor, or they have a personal enough of a relationship with the veteran that they would have observed multiple strings of stressors, ailments, symptoms, etc. A lot of times when you're writing a buddy statement, which is usually a vet, they will also be able to send in their DD-214 or some kind of way to verify that you were in the same unit at the same time on the same deployment and observed the same things. This will be key for credibility purposes. Lastly, honesty. Guys, I know it's really hard to be tempted to exaggerate some symptoms or ailments, but please try to be as honest as possible. But also don't minimize your symptoms. There are some of us out there who tend to do that. You know, we all have a high pain tolerance, but at the end of the day, we are going to try to seek help, and we try to explain what we're going through so that the VA can adequately review us and rate us. Honesty goes a long way, and so make sure when you're filling these things out, you stay as close to the truth as possible. Okay, so let's get into the structuring of these buddy statements. Lately, we've been getting a lot of emails with lay statements, buddy statements in them, asking us what we think about them, how they're structured, what details go into them. Unfortunately, it's really hard for us to do this because we don't understand the full spectrum, the full picture of what you're going through. Unless we are looking at every individual symptom that you have, we understand the relationship between you and the person writing the buddy statement or you writing the lay statement. It's really, really hard for us to then rate how well you have written your buddy statement or your lay statement. So what I'm going to do now is give you kind of an idea of if I were to write a buddy statement, what I would have included. So as you may know, a very well organized buddy statement will go a very, very long way. If it is actually a buddy statement, having first a great introduction, who you are, function is, your relationship to the veteran, and then really chronicle what you have observed, whether that be the stressor itself, in-service stressor, whether that be symptoms or the impacts of those symptoms on the vet's life. So if we're talking about PTSD, you've seen divorces happen, you've seen bouts of anger, you've seen night terrors, you've seen all of these things, and then you can observe the actual impacts in their lives. At the end of the day, a narrative form is going to be the best way, really giving the VA a innate understanding in a narrative that flows very, very well from start to finish. Everybody likes a good story, and if you can put it in that form, in a chronological order, it will be the best way to tell that story. So, as I said in the beginning, a buddy statement can be very, very powerful. So much so, I really want you guys to be able to get these right and get them to become a tool for you to help you get your claim approved. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to use ChatGPT to craft a really, really good buddy statement as an example to your friend, to your buddy, your family members on what they should be putting into your statement. This way, they're not just coming out of the ether with what they think should go in there, but they have a clear-cut example of what it should really look like. Okay, so before we get started here, and if you're going to really follow along, go ahead and make a GPT account so that you can actually implement this. It's free. Use the 3.5. It will do the job. It's all about the prompts, and I will show you how to get those right. Okay, so we are here at ChatGPT. Now, here's the kicker. So again, ChatGPT, very easy to use, very, very, very awesome program if you use it correctly. First thing we're gonna do is actually open up a Microsoft Word document, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and type in our prompt. We're gonna go ahead and develop it. So to save time for you, I have already developed one. So I'm just gonna bring it over here and open it up so that you can see the prompt that I developed. Now, specificity again is key. And the more detail you put into this, the easier it is and the more powerful that statement will be once ChatGPT actually develops it. Okay, so for this instance, again, we're using PTSD and we're going to go ahead and start filling out our prompt. So here in my prompt, just for the sake of time, I went ahead and just started with write a VA disability buddy statement for veteran J. Martin, me, with PTSD. And I told it to make the statement written by Clay Sims, hence the shirt. That's why Clay is going to be my buddy for today. I put his address in here. I put his phone number. I put his email address, and I put the date. Now, I made this prompt on the 22nd. That was about 3 days ago. But then I'm going to move into highlighting my symptoms. Now, this is where it's going to be hit or miss for you, depending on what you put into it. Okay, so for my symptoms, I put bouts of anger that led to a loss of a job and led to a divorce. So again, symptom, outcome. Social avoidance that has led to loss of friends and family, symptom, outcome. Nightmares and cold sweats. I just put nightmares and cold sweats, but you can actually put an outcome on that, lack of sleep, insomnia, etc. Hypervigilance. We all know what that is, and we probably all suffer from such. Depression, which causes weight gain and insomnia. High blood pressure. mental breakdown that led to hospitalization. Big one, okay? And then I even went into the stressor event. So for this particular one, I put Clay as a fellow Marine veteran who served with Jay for 5 years in the United States Marine Corps and deployed with Jay to Iraq in 2019 while they both served and were both attached to Special Purpose MACTAV CENTCOM Forward. During this deployment, we suffered the loss of Sergeant John Doe. Jay watched as John Doe was shot multiple times, and due to heavy fire, no one were able to get to John Doe. So essentially they had to watch John Doe die in this event. I also told it to detail that event that Clay observed. So it's going to put more detail into that event. And again, the more detail I put in, the better the outcome will be for the overall picture. Also, I told it to highlight the impact of Jay's PTSD symptoms in his life. Remember, Clay is more than just a service member. He's my friend, and we've been friends for a very, very long time. Compare and contrast the personality traits before and after the PTSD symptoms started in chronological order. Remember, that narrative story from start to finish, that is what we want. So now that we have this prompt, what we're going to do is we're going to copy that. So Control C, we're gonna go right into ChatGPT, and then we're going to go ahead and paste that in there, okay? Just like that. Now we're going to go ahead and just click send message, and it's going to think about it for a little bit, and then it's going to start developing our buddy statement. This will be our buddy statement. Now, I can go ahead and read this for you guys, but I figure that you don't want to just have story time with Jay. So what I'm going to do is I am going to copy this and I am going to have it in the description down below in the comment section. So you guys can go and actually read what it spat out. And if this is if this is a usable tool for you guys, I recommend you do it. Okay, I would tell you, if you look very closely, now I'm going to scroll slowly through this so you guys can actually take a look at what is spat out. I will zoom in a little bit as well so that you can have a good few minutes to be able to look at this. A few seconds, I would say, actually. So I'll go ahead and scroll very slowly. You can pause and read at your leisure, but it will also be in the comments if you don't want to keep pausing and playing. But as you see, this spits out a very, very good statement. And again, now, what I'm saying here is you can now take this buddy statement and hand it to a friend and say, hey, I know this is not exactly what happened from your observation, possibly, but this is a good starting point that you can use to develop a buddy statement if you're still on board with doing that for me. Now, the cool thing about ChatGPT is that if this is not exactly what you're looking for, you can go ahead and copy and paste again, or in this little bottom part right here, it says regenerate. You can click that and it will give you another one in a different format, because then it'll do it in a different format. It might not even do it in the bullet format. It could do it in a straight narrative format. And if you just keep regenerating, it will give you different variants of the same story. That way you can really kind of play with how you want it to sound. This is, again, a very powerful tool. Now you see on the bottom, it says better, worse, same. And you can say worse and then regenerate again, and it will keep molding it until it gets to what you want it to really look like. All right, there you go. I have now shown you how to get to the right answer for your buddy and lay statements. Again, guys, if you follow this tutorial, if you understand 3 C's and a H, if you understand what they're really looking for, these statements can be very, very powerful. So go forth and do great things with this tutorial. I really want you guys to be able to get this out to all the vets that can possibly use this information. All right, guys, so you know what to do if you want more information that matters to you. I am Jay with TheCivDiv. Stay strong, stay resilient, and I will see you next time.